Oh no, the bane of an antiquarian's life. It's a village called Arthur. Here we are in the far north of England, very close, dangerously close to the Scottish border. And we're in a village that not only claims to be named after the legendary king, it also purports to be his final resting place. That's right, another one. We'll put a thingamajig up to show you where we are. It's probably fair to say that most people associate this made-up king, there, I've said it, with the southwest and Wales. And here we are in the northernmost reaches of Cumbria, and we have a village named after King Arthur. What's going on? Okay, let's check out the etymology to see what that tells us about this name, arthuret. Ah, obscure. The current church here dates back to the early 1600s, but there has been a church on this site dating right back to the 6th century, so the 500s, perfect timing for Arthur. The church had to be rebuilt time after time because we're in the debatable land here, which for centuries was dogged by the border reivers. Ah, look at that, we have an Armstrong there. Another one there. That is a classic border reiver family name. Although clearly I'm not saying that those guys were border reivers, but they probably were descended from them. And these are really interesting. I don't know if you can make them out. There's one there, you can see that. A mason's mark facing out. And that tells you something about the instability of this place, because the mason's mark should be facing inwards. But they put them facing out because they were so worried about getting paid. I'd planned all sorts of drone footage here, but unfortunately we're still in the tail of these wretched storms. So sorry about that, no fake drone. My best bet is that this name, Arthuret, comes from what lies through here. So over here we have the likely site of the Battle of, and in Old Welsh I'll put it here, or possibly that. And if you think I'm going to try and pronounce that, you've got another thing coming. We don't actually know what this Welsh name for the battle here actually means, and believe me, I have tried to find out, but I suspect it is the ancient name of this area, and therefore the battle was named after it. And I think it's easy to see how over the centuries that could morph into Arthuret, especially when you add in the actions of scoundrels like Geoffrey of Monmouth, who want to make it the village of King Arthur. We know about the battle here from the Welsh Annals Cumbria, and it is dated to around 573 AD. It's a really complex battle from the Dark Ages, and we'll put another doodah up to show you all of the important players who travelled from far away, different areas in the northern part of the country to join in this battle. Nobody knows who was fighting who was allied with who. I like to think, possibly slightly romantically, that all of these names on your screen are British leaders joining together to battle the Saxons. But what I like to think, and what actually happened, are probably two very different things. This character here, let's call him Gwen, was apparently killed in the battle. And as a result of that, his bard, Myrddin, went mad and ran off into the Caledonian forest as a result of that. You can probably guess where that went in future years. Myrddin. And it's said that Gwen's men carried on fighting for a month and a half after his demise. And later that became Arthur. It's one of those shoots I'm now hiding round by the boiler shed. All sorts of theories about this battle, who is involved and who wasn't. Some think that the inclusion of the King of Strathclyde is a mistake, a typo that has come down to us through the centuries. Other people believe that this character was a chieftain operating under Urian of Regid, and he was certainly here during this period. Here's his dates because I've forgotten them. He was based in nearby Annandale. Regardless of the detail, the battle was well recorded by the Welsh triads, and they actually name it one of the 3 futile battles of the islands of Britain. There's actually a strong Arthurian tradition here in the northwest of England. Alfred Lord Tennyson was staying at Bassenthwaite Lake in the Lake District when he wrote his account of the final journey of Arthur, and many believe that Arthur and his knights are sleeping beneath Blencathra Mountain, waiting to be given the call, to be summoned at the time of the country's need. Perhaps someone should think about giving him a buzz right now. And we've encountered Arthur before on this channel, haven't we? For those of you who remember, we saw Arthur's round table near Penrith, supposedly one of the regional meeting centres for his knights. But the probable association of Arthur with this place comes from this idea that he was actually trained as a warrior at Oswald Roman fort on Hadrian's Wall in that period after the departure of the Romans, where a sort of a post-Roman community of soldiers soldiered on, so to speak. And thus Gwen becomes Arthur and is killed in the battle here and laid to rest. I know he's also under Blencathra and other places. And Myrddin becomes Merlin and runs off into that Caledonian forest with his golden torque. Cards on the table time, folks. Whilst I think there may very well have been a major battle here around about 573, I don't think it involved Arthur or Merlin for that matter, because those characters are not real. Arthur is an amalgam of tales of brave chieftains who were fighting the invading Angles and Saxons at that time. The thing I find interesting about this is the way that all of the Arthurian stories are from the western side of the islands of Britain, and I think that tells you that he is a character based on the brave exploits of British chieftains, warriors, leaders battling against the invading Angles and Saxons. And if that disappoints all of you Arthur fanatics out there, I'll throw you this quick sop at the end of the video. There's a lovely 6th century poem that records a battle over near Catterick, and it heaps plaudits upon a local leader bravely fighting the Saxons. But there's a little throwaway line in it where it says, although he was no Arthur. Make of that what you will. And then up here we have a Holy Grail. And just over the road from the church is this tree-covered mound that some locals believe is the resting place of King Arthur. It's not. Oh, and inevitably, where you get Arthur, you get cashing in. And do be careful if you do come here. These steps are treacherous. We even have a holy well. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'd just like to welcome the inrush of subscribers that we've had recently, and for you I'm going to get the ending right. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, all that sort of stuff. We'll see you next week for another video. Yeah, we didn't need that shot, did we? Or that one. Definitely not that one.